Hello and welcome to another episode of MCCM's Mates Rates podcast. Today, our guest Steve Murray is the founder of G-Fest Festival in Worsley. Welcome, Steve. You okay?
Yeah, good to see you, Rich. Yeah,
good. So the premise of the podcast is we speak to our guests, friends and colleagues that we've met along our business journeys, and effectively you communicate and tell us your business story. So let's get going. Tell us how G-Fest came about.
Absolutely. Well, G-Fest came about through tragic circumstances, which is the point I'd like to get across as to start with, because it was set up in memory of my daughter, Georgia. She sadly passed away nearly 14 years ago now. She was born with a complex heart condition, but she led a full life. People think of heart conditions like being blue and being lay around and not being able to, oxygen things and all that. But she didn't have any of that, fortunately. The riskiest time she had when her operations came, and it was the third operation when she was 19, although they actually did the correction part right. There was a minor surgical error, which sadly cost her her life, So devastating to any parent. I think it's the worst thing anyone could ever go through, really, and obviously trying to process that. I was lucky enough that a friend of mine was travelling around the world around the same time. And she came, she lived in America actually, she came and she took me and we went on this trip around the world and saw so much poverty everywhere. And it was that sort of made me think, well, I need to do something in George's name, keep her legacy alive, and when I got home, I spoke to her friends and I thought, I'm thinking about doing a fundraiser, and it wasn't even a year. I said, do you think it's too soon? And her friends all like, well, no, it's what she would have wanted, so we did do that this would have been September 2011, and we didn't even call it G-Fest then. It was George's fundraiser, because she was all about fun, and she was a great communicator and everything, and we just got a few bands together. I've always been in bands myself, so that was the one of the catalysts. And obviously I know a lot of people in bands, good friends with Mike Sweeney, who we've mentioned from Salford Jets and stuff, and we'd always been rivals along the way, so we actually did it as Salford Jets versus Fast Cars. And anyway, it went beyond what we expected, really. The place was absolutely rammed out, and it was wonderful. And then we're thinking of what was the next step, and the Queen announced that she was pushing back the Jubilee that year in 2012.
Remember it well,
I can't remember if it was a platinum or whatever it was, but anyway, it was getting pushed back to the first weekend in June, and it landed on what would have been George's 21st birthday. So that to me was a signal, as she's always been around. She drives everything I do, every day or every week. Certainly, I get messages from her. That was certainly a big one. That this is it.
Serendipity, they call it, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. So we decided to put a festival together. Georgia being a name is, we went with the title G Festival. It was already quite establishing the fact of V Festival, so the similarities were already there.
Clever marketing, why not? Piggyback on it,
This is it, and we'd kind of set up the charity by then, which was originally called George's Children of Cambodia, because that's where I first went back to start helping kids out there, because it's obviously great to do work at home, and we do work at home now. We've got a little bit more money, but obviously a lot less money can go a lot further in a really poor country. So we carried on. The first G-Fest was a success. I don't know what we raised. We probably getting up near 10 grand or something, which was quite incredible.
Good first amount,
yeah. And then slowly it began to grow organically. It's like, say, now there is a festival on every corner, isn't there, almost? Certainly one in every town. But our first biggish festival was probably we were starting to get somewhere. About 2016, we brought in our first tribute band, which I think was the Smiths Limited.
Yeah,
it were awesome. And the guy used to sing with in Spiral Carpets. He had a band called the Carpets. A chap called Tom Hingley.
I know the name.
So it was like a double biller, and for the first time, we were becoming more like a festival, and then it just grew and grew and grew, and then we got up to our biggest amount we raised was 50,000 one year, which was quite incredible, and on the back of that we were able to put a school building up, two school buildings up in Cambodia. We actually changed the whole village. There was this little village that I'd visited a few times. We work with people. How we work with people on the ground in Cambodia, a little bit in Romania and back in Salford. But my main thing is is the fundraising. It's G-Fest and a few other fundraising things that we do. So you need to find partners to work with, because you can't run the actual on-the-ground charity thing as well as run the fundraising side. So it's finding the right partners. That's the trick. Underfunded, small organisations that have got like good, strong ideas that mainly volunteer-led, as G-Fest is completely volunteer-led. Even now, obviously we have to pay professionals for security and the like.
Well, I guess the music side of things came naturally to you, coming from bands and music management. We've had this conversation off air. But the actual charity setup itself, how difficult was that to set up? Because it's something that I presume you've never really done before.
Well, it's something I had done before.
Oh,
because,
is it?
Yeah. I became chairman of because George had this heart condition. I did become chairman of the Children's Heart Association. But that happened by default. My wife joined it first at the time, and there was one time she was poorly one Christmas and asked me to go to the Christmas party and take George with me. She's only little, so I went along and met a few people and obviously talked too much and
taught yourself into a role.
ended up getting roped into it, and then from there, within a couple of years, they asked me to be chairman, and I did very, very well with them. They were a great bunch of people, and I was kind of I was good at the PR thing, so we had to take that. Got involved with balloons one year, and we got all, because that was the symbol of G-Fest. I don't know if you see it.
Let's just rewind that a little bit. That got involved with balloons. I've heard Mark Owen is great with his sausage dogs are second to none. So I've heard.
Well, what it was, the trademark of G-Fest is the red heart balloon. You know, and we use it as a memory thing, like it's a sign of hope. We did that at George's funeral. We actually released the balloons into the air. It's the whole thing. The whole balloon thing is we could do a whole podcast on the whole balloon.
Like the Banksy mural, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this is it. Well, that's where it comes from. We did it when George was 3 or 4 years old. We used to sell like the red heart balloons in Manchester as a fundraiser for Children's Heart Association. And I had a picture of George somewhere with little A-line coat on and a balloon in the hand. Looks almost exactly, even the hair. Almost exactly like the Banksy thing. Really? So he's ripped it off from you? Well, could have done. You're not Banksy, are you? No, I'm not Banksy. But I didn't know what it was. What happened was, when I was on this first travel, it was in Thailand, and I saw this T-shirt with this little girl on with the red balloon, and I didn't think it was, but I didn't know what Banksy was. I just thought, wow, that's Georgia. Another sign. That's it. It's the sign thing, and. That sort of focused me. I thought, well, what I had in my mind that we would try and build like the first school building, and I had the vision of this little girl with the red balloon on it, and I bought, this shop had like 7 or 8 T-shirts. I bought every T-shirt in the shop and brought them home for all George's friends to wear at this first fundraiser. And it's only then I said, oh, it's Banksy. And I'm going, who? So it started off at the Valentine's Day, went through to the Banksy T-shirt in Thailand, and then became a massive part of G-Fest. So every G-Fest you come to, you'll see lots of red heart balloons around. We used to do a balloon release, which was like a very, very poignant moment. But obviously now the environmental thing, we've had to pull back from that. Greta Thunberg on your back, you don't need that, do you? Well, this is it, but we still have the balloon. We have a balloon wall now, so you can still write to, because I do it in memory of Georgia, but I try to encourage people to do it in memory of their loved ones. Yeah, of course. Which would be your grandpa, be your mother, brothers. It could be anybody. And sadly, for some people, it is the child as well. And I think that's one thing that I've got from you, that the festival itself is so inclusive, because we've done research on other festivals, we've seen other fundraisers, and it is a family festival, and obviously you've been promoting that from the get-go, haven't you? Absolutely. And it is totally about family, and getting people to actually realise the value of life. So we call it G Festival, a celebration of life, which is basically what it is, and I know it's my festival or mine and George's festival, but the atmosphere at G Fest is different to everywhere else because of that feeling. People get it and they know why they're there, I think you've been really, so from speaking to you and from getting to know you over the last few weeks as well, you've got a real understanding of marketing and music, and combining the two to bring people together, because music brings people together anyway. I think it does. As an art form, as a medium. You look at gigs, you look at festivals.
You look at little get-togethers, even karaoke to a certain degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Sing
it
along.
still gets people together in the room through the same core bond, doesn't it? Yeah,
and what you've done is the bookings for your festival have been, I think, bands that so many different generations can identify with, and that's
the hardest thing, to kind of keep repeating that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, because otherwise it's just the same bands over and over.
Yeah, and some festivals do tend to do the same bands over and over. But yeah, we had to take a little break, obviously with the COVID thing. So we'd got to this. I said we got to like raising 50 grand, and we'd had like a local Oasis band play, and it's that festival was 2018, and that's basically gone down in folklore, really. You know, everybody remembers that day. It was early May, but it was like 30 degrees. The place was absolutely rammed. It was rammed. It was scary. We probably broke every rule in the book at the time because we didn't have enough experience, and it just got a little bit crazy. But
so I think based on that comment, I mean, what we usually do at the end of every question is we'll rate the experience of your startup. So the startup, I guess, was the initial festival and getting that off the ground, getting the word out there. So rate your experience on 1 to 10 on that. Was it 1 being the lowest, it was really tough, or was it 10 as in like it was a breeze because I knew what I was doing anyway?
Oh, I don't know. It's because it's never done until it's done.
Yeah.
So it's almost impossible. I remember we did the first G Festival, not the fundraiser, the first G Festival. I remember people starting to come in and I'm going, we're not ready, we're not ready, we're not ready. And that was all that was running through my mind. So, but it did go well. But I guess the start was probably a 7 or 8 out of 10. You know,
good score.
We probably were ready, because I still panic now. I'm panicking right at this moment. We're like 8 weeks away to the next one, and I'm still going through the same kind of emotions. The panic, is anybody going to turn up, and you know the stress of actually running a festival. So and the reasons why I do it obviously bring their own stresses and emotions. So
of course,
it's a tricky one. Yeah,
well, that's a nice little segue into the next question. So, in terms of stresses and emotions and little things that have been thrown in your path in terms of hurdles and what have you, what would you say has been your biggest challenge as the founder of G-Fest?
Well, to be honest, the biggest challenge, bigger than COVID, and that was absolutely huge, was a couple of the local venues.
Yeah,
you know that was really, really difficult. We did like 4 or 5 years at one particular venue, and I won't name.
No, you don't have to name.
It's probably unreasonable, but there's not many venues in Worsley anyway.
We'll flash it up on screen. It'll be okay.
Yeah. But we always clashed them, which was ridiculous, because this is a place where Georgia had her 18th birthday. Sadly, 18 months later, we did a funeral there.
Yeah,
so there was a huge connection. It's very close to my house, and it was always a battle with them, you know, which shouldn't have been a battle. We should have been working together, because we were raising money for the club as well. But they became jealous of the fact we were raising more money than they were, which I think is just insane, because if they'd run things properly, they'd have made the same kind of money we were. And we weren't making any money, because we give it all away. And they couldn't seem to grasp that point. Everybody who's involved in G-Fest does not earn a penny from it. You know, it's volunteer led, and we give it all away. Yeah. So eventually we did part ways with them, and we were all set to go down to the Marriott, and they were brilliant, better than you would imagine. I think a corporate would be a real problem, but we had an agreement with them how we were going to do the drinks thing and all that, and we were allowed to run the VIP bar, and they were actually more cooperative than a local venue, you know.
Yeah.
But the council messed the licenses up. This was 2019. And we had to pull it with 7 days to go.
I think we've had another podcast previous to this, another guest who their biggest challenge was council led as well.
Yeah, it can be, because they don't. They have to check everything, but they actually don't have an expert on events. Yeah. So you probably know more than they do, and they can easily ill-advise you. They know about the safety side of it, but they don't know about everything else. But this was a licensing issue that they somehow been miscommunicated between them and the Marriott, and we lost what was potentially our biggest festival ever. It was lost with a week to go.
Well, hopefully this next one will be the biggest ever. So when is the next one? Tell us a little bit about it, who you've got on and what the plans are.
Okay, well, the next one is going to be on the 14th and 15th of June. We're going to be headlining. A lot of the younger ones were saying they wanted to get a DJ, and I looked into a few DJs, and we came up with the idea of bringing, like I say, we want to try and cross age groups. So we're bringing in K-Class, who are a massive 90s dance act, and a couple of kids at first were saying, well, who's K-Class? Then you play them the track and they know it straight away. Absolutely, you know. So we've decided to go down that kind of DJ performance finish, because the two original guys still come, and the singer and the piano player. So it's like a live band stroke DJ set. It mixes like that, you know. So they'll headline the Saturday night, because for the first time we're going to be doing a weekender. We're trying out a Friday as well, which will start late afternoon. Mm-hmm. On the Friday, we've got a brilliant Killers tribute headline called the Brightside Killers, and because I'm from bands, I've handpicked the band, and I did a lot of research. Yeah. And there's some good ones, there's some bad ones, and there's some brilliant ones, and these guys are fantastic. So they're going to be headlining the Friday night. Co-headlining Friday night, we've got this Harry Styles kid who is just unreal. If anyone's seen any of the videos we've been putting out, there's a little show reel of him, and he's an absolute double, and he brings a couple of singers with him. So
be one for the teens. They'll love that.
This is it. It's one for the teens, and it's got to be family orientated. And the other one on the Friday is a friend of mine's band. They're going to do loads of Manchester anthems.
Brilliant.
And then slightly to fill the bill out, then we'll, instead of like most of the festivals are doing all tributes or all older acts, one or the other, but we're trying to do a mix of everything. So below the main three acts, it'll be local bands. And a lot of bands that started out with us at G-Fest now are all doing all the main bars and clubs around the area. And the first gig ever is G-Fest. Yeah. You know, so we're going back to our roots a little bit by putting something on that can attract people in, and then also giving like the new up-and-coming bands a chance. You know?
Local bands bring a local audience every time I've been to local band gigs.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It works in that respect. It keeps it local. It does bring people in. So it's a win-win for the band and for us, you know. So and then when we move to Saturday, that's going to be the full all day. And I'll say we'll finish with K-Class. We've got an Arctic Monkeys band who I went to see, again, looked at lots. This band are called the Arctic Numpties. I don't particularly like the name. Makes it sound like a bit of a, like a Mickey take kind of band. But I went to see them at the Academy 3, and they were sensational. The guy really nailed the Alex Turner moves and everything. He was just brilliant.
Well, going back to what I said before, I think you've managed to pick such a mix of cross-generational acts that are going to really just get everybody up.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm saying talk about getting everybody going. The third on the bill is a Madness tribute.
Excellent, love it.
Which again it crosses generations, and then just before the Madness tribute, which we've not announced yet, we're going to do Salford Now and Then, basically. Which there's a young band called The Height. We're from The Height. And they're making a lot of noises at the moment, and people are really getting to like them. The guitarist won an award off Johnny Marr last year.
Oh, really? Excellent.
Yeah. And we're going to match them up against the Salford Jets with Mike Sweeney. So it's going back to the very original thought of my band versus Salford Jets. But unless it's going to be Salford Now and Then, 'cause I think Mike's turns 77 this year, and the band is we're pairing him with are aged like 14, 15 or something. But they are brilliant as well, you know. So we're hoping they're going to finish together with a bit of a dirty old town rendition, you know.
Oh, love it.
So that's the plan. And again, early doors, we'll have Adam Kerr's theatre school there, which is all kids from around Wharton, Worsley and whatever, you know. I think it's the biggest theatre school in the area. And Adam's a great supporter of G-Fest as well, you know. And a couple of young bands, and there'll be like cheerleaders and stuff. Because Georgia was a cheerleader, so one of her friends runs the big Salford Reds cheerleading team, so we'll have like, a lot of the girls around doing raffle prizes for us, and working on as I said, the balloon theme stays throughout, so the girls will be getting involved in selling the balloons and just creating the atmosphere, you know. So,
love it. Well, the festival itself, like you say, over the last few years has been absolutely buzzing, and this year we're hoping to help you along with it as well and get it to where it needs to be. How many people are you hoping to get down?
Well, last year we were capped at 3,000, and we did sell it out just a couple of days before, so I was absolutely over the moon that we could actually put it up as a sellout. little disappointed that a lot of people couldn't get there, you know, so we've managed to open the field up a little bit now in terms of a barrack. It's a football club, so the two main fields are separated by barriers around the thing. So we've worked away now to remove some of the barriers, put a little bridge across the ditch that's in there. So we've opened up the whole arena so we can get maybe another 1,000 people in.
Excellent.
So, we've just got to work hard between us now.
Getting people through that door.
Getting people through the doors. You know, the ticket sales have been very strong so far, you know, but there's still a way to go. And, hopefully there will be opportunities to people to join us on the day. But even better news would be to sell out again with at 4,000 would be incredible. But
brilliant.
Yeah, we've just got to do what we can. I mean, get it out there.
Yeah, well, that said, this is your chance to plug it now. So plug the dates.
Okay,
and plug where they can find you.
Okay, right. Well, the date is the 14th and 15th of June, so it's right in the middle of June, day before Father's Day. So that kind of works. It's the way it's fallen, but it fits in with my situation. So it's at AFC Monton, which is basically on the road between Worsley and Monton. So it's kind of just inside the Winton, so just beyond the Barton Arms. Perfect position. So because we have a 9 o'clock curfew, which I always thought was a little bit early, but it worked wonderful last year because we managed to clear the ground early enough, and then everybody was into the pubs. You got the Barton, you've got the Delve, you've got Bridgewater, John Gilbert. So it's actually a much better location than most places because a lot of festivals are in the middle of nowhere, and that's it when it's finished.
You can carry on partying afterwards, can't you?
Absolutely can, you know. So tickets are on sale through, if you go on to like G Festival on Facebook, you'll find the link to the ticket site. We're putting, obviously, regular adverts on now. We're regularly posting. So if you just find us on Facebook, which shouldn't be difficult, the ticket link will be there because I couldn't read it out. Anyway.
Well, we'll stick the ticket link at the.
This is it.
When we release the podcast, the ticket link will be in there as well. So we'll definitely be plugging it. And I, for one, can't wait to be out in a field getting drunk and listening to some decent bands.
It'd be great to have you there, you know. And I say, if we're always fingers crossed on the weather. But if we get, even if we don't get the weather, it'll be a wonderful atmosphere. If we do, it just takes it to another level, you know. And it's a great fundraiser. 100% of the profits will go to Salford, a little bit in Romania, and kids in Cambodia. And it's basically kids who need us. That's it. You know, I wait for people to come to me because I believe the whole thing is driven by Georgia, and people will find us if they want us. And there's been some very, very strong local stories where people have come and got involved, and we've helped them out. You know, so rather than go looking, we wait till people come to us, and then almost always we've been able to offer some help and make a difference. So
yeah, well, I love the story, and I'm gonna love the festival. I'm sure I am, and you're a great guy to have on the podcast, and I wish you the best of luck. And if you want to check out G Fest, get onto Facebook. It's G-Fest.
Yeah, G-Festival.
But
once you've gone fest in,
once you've got fest, it'll be in there. Yeah, but check it out. Come down and support. It's all for a great cause, and we hope to see you there. Thank you very much, Steve.
No, thanks, Richard. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.